Hey guys, we got this 2015 Hyundai Santa Fe here, and I'm going to be showing you how to change outer tie rod ends. They're very simple to do. First thing we're going to do, remove the wheel. Second thing that we need to do is gain access to the nut for the tie rod end where it connects to the steering knuckle. So we're going to remove our brake caliper here. We've got a 14mm wrench, and we'll just go ahead and remove this. 2 bolts. Just move this thing out of the way. Okay, so we got to get this brake caliper off. Should not be that difficult to get off, but obviously it's seized in there a little bit. We've got a little hanger that holds the brake caliper so that it's not resting on the hose. Okay, so now we've got access to that nut. I'm actually just going to remove this caliper slider pin to give us a little bit more extra room. But there it is right there. There's a cotter pin, and if it's easy to get out, it's not seized, take it out. If it is seized, then don't worry about it, and you just take the right size socket, which I believe is a 19mm, and I grabbed the wrong one, and we're just gonna hammer it right on there. Boom, just like that. We just hammer it right on, forget about the cotter pin. It'll rip off, and then we'll just drill it out afterwards. Only if it's seized though. Before we remove this though, we need to loosen our jam nut. It's a 24mm. Grab yourself a wrench. I'm gonna lift this thing up in the air so that I can get all the leverage. I'm gonna break both sides loose. There we go. Now, look at this boot. You see when I go to loosen it, that boot's twisting with that? We need to pull that clamp and take the tension off that boot so that the shaft can rotate in the boot, and then it doesn't bind that all up. And now that it's broken free, I'll deal with this, and then we'll take this off. All right, so that came off. I don't know where that went. Okay, it's definitely a 17. It was so rusted, I thought it was an 18. It's a 17. Now, there's actually a special tool that will press that and break that joint free to get that out of the knuckle. But the tool that I like to use is my special service tool hammer. And it works just great. See, just like that, 3 hits. Okay, now we can just loosen this off. Simple as pie. There is a left and a right, so pay attention to that. If you're doing both sides, if you're doing one side and you order one, make sure, like if you're doing the left side, order the left tie rod. This is the way they look though. The bend goes towards the front of the vehicle. So make sure you get the correct side. All right, you can see here, tie rod end. It doesn't tell us what side it is. That's fantastic, but we can just look at it and know that, okay, that's gotta be the passenger side. So that's not the one that we want. So we'll return that one. I'm just kidding. We're doing it. All right, how about this side? Perfect, that looks correct. Imagine if they sent us both sides. Or one side. We got a grease fitting in here, so we'll screw that in afterwards. And they sent us a new cotter pin. How nice. So now, normally, what I would do is clean all these threads and then get this nut to loosen off so that when you go to send it for an alignment, the guy doesn't bill you a bunch of extra time, and because it's all seized and he can't make an adjustment. Or you can just thread this on and send it. Look at that, perfect. Who even needs an alignment? alignments are a myth. Give that a little tweak. Get that in there. Brand new castle nut. Okay, 32.5 foot-pounds is the specification for this joint. So we can go ahead and get that snug down. Perfect. And then you can see that we've got a little hole for our cotter pin. Stick that in there. Boom, bend that over, just like so. And then we can take our wrench and we'll snug that thing back up. Our jam nut is what they call that. Just like that. You don't want the boot to be like that. We can just like undo the clamp with a pair of pliers, take the tension off of it, and just turn the boot so that it's not all bound up like that. And then we're ready to put our caliper back on. So go ahead and fight to put that back on. I'm actually going to press it back a little bit because it didn't want to come off. Okay, caliper's seized, so just hammer that back on. It's getting parts in the morning. And then we torque these down, probably like 25 foot-pounds, who knows. Oh yeah, no, it's Imperial. All right, we just thread this in. And you want to make sure that it's facing somewhere that you can get it when the wheel is on. You don't want it facing to the rim. That way when it's in for service or you're doing service yourself, you can actually access it with the grease gun. Pump it up full of grease. Even though it comes with grease, you never have too much grease. All right, so they call for 23.1. I'm just gonna torque them to 25. Perfect. And now we can just put our wheel on and torque that down to 80 foot-pounds. And send it for an alignment or drive it, up to you. I'd probably send it for an alignment though. If you got any questions, throw them in the comments below. Sorry, it's super late right now. We just want to go home. But if you want to see more content, subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.